Welcome to Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode. Kick back and relax while I blast you back in time and guide you down a pixelated, coin-operated, button-mashing memory lane paved with joysticks, consoles, and dusty old cartridges. Where good guys are always good guys, bad guys are always bad guys, and the fate of the universe lies in your hands. Time to kick it into overdrive. Retro mode. Insert coin to play. Welcome to Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode.
It's hard on the voice. Nice to meet you guys. My name is Johnny Heilig. I am your host here on Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode. This is the first ever episode and I can't wait to jump right into it. This show is an offshoot of my podcast with Chin Lee, which is on Spotify, called Gamers Overdrive. And this is really just a little narrow focus on retro games, classic games. I'm a huge classic game enthusiast. I love to keep it classic. And every chance I get, really, I just look for new and creative ways to play old games. I love pixel art. Mostly games from the 80s and early 90s are really my favorite genre. So this channel is all about those games, and I want to play those games, talk about them, and really introduce a new generation to these awesome, amazing video games from the golden age of gaming. So there's so many ways to play them. First, right behind me, you might see this, the screen here is connected to an arcade stick. It's a dual arcade stick, and it has something inside of it called a Pandora's box. If you Google that, you'll see it's a really awesome invention. It's got about 1,000 games built in, but you don't have to go even further than your pocket to play retro games because really, in my opinion, the best way to play a retro game is right here on your smartphone. Now, most of you, probably everybody has a smartphone, and it's incredibly easy to download emulators. If you don't know what an emulator is, you can do a quick Google search. But emulators, they mimic the old hardware of these awesome systems. And then you might need to download something called a ROM file. The ROM file will let you play the game. But there's so many different ways to play it. So I would recommend if you want to get into retro gaming, just use your cell phone. It's the easiest way to do it. But if you want to go, there's so many different ways to do it. And here, I want to go another route. We have these things called, they were all the rage a couple years ago. They're mini consoles, as you see here. This is when this system here, Nintendo, when this was released, I was, 5 or 6 years old. But they made a mini teeny one. It looks like a Happy Meal toy, doesn't it? But it really works. And it has about, forget how many games, 30 games built in. And this one here, like a year later, they saw how successful that was and how much money could be made off of nostalgia. So Nintendo went ahead and made the Super Nintendo Classic. This one again has, 20, 30 games, I forget. Sega made the same thing. It's called the Genesis Classic. So these are all systems that I had that were, they were huge, and you had to connect them to your TV with a bunch of wires, and you played until your eyeballs melted out of your skull. Yeah, that's what I love to do my whole life. It's just my hobby, and it's something that I love. But you don't need to, again, I collect these because I love collecting them, and I'm obsessed. But you don't need them. You can use your cell phone. It's just as good. Now, the cool thing with most cell phones is that you can just use a Bluetooth controller of any kind. I use a PlayStation 4 controller to play classic games. How about that? It's pretty awesome. So if you have Bluetooth, you just use a Bluetooth controller of most any kind. And yeah, so again, it's up to you how you play. I'm also a hardware enthusiast, so every time I have a chance to get the actual original hardware, I like to, but it takes up space. But I do have a thing for Game Boy Advance. This is one of my favorite little consoles. I modified this one. I put a new clear body on it, and I put a glass screen. It came with a plastic screen. I put a glass screen, and I even put a backlight on it. Way back in the day, the original version didn't even have a backlight. You had to sit like under a lamp, and you had to just get the lighting perfectly so that you could see Mario just clear enough to make the jump. And you made the jump, because that's how we're built. Old school hardcore gamers. We did it. We made it work. But yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. This is, again, a little hobby that I like to do. I like to modify, tweak, collect. And yeah, so that's That's it. If you want to know a little bit more about me, I am an author and illustrator of children's books and novels. I also teach English in Istanbul, Turkey. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, but I've lived out of the country for the last 4 years. I lived in Hong Kong for a while, and now for the last 3 years I've been living in Turkey with my wife and my daughter, who's named Zelda. Go figure. Hi, Zelda. Hello. Hi, baby. Hi. Look, it's Daddy. He's in the phone. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes I'm going to be playing these games through my phone. Sometimes I'm going to be playing them on this arcade unit. Depends on my mood for the day and how I'm feeling. So why don't we just jump right into it with the first game. The first game that I'm going to be playing is called Circus Charlie. Circus Charlie. It's a great game. It was originally for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I think it had other versions, but I'm going to be playing the Nintendo version. It's not easy. They didn't make easy games back in the day when I was a youngin'. When I was a little kiddo, games were legit. You had to work. You had to work to win. We didn't have these walkthrough tutorials. Those didn't exist. Okay, and I know I might be talking to the younger generation. I really want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. That's why I want to introduce you and teach you if I can. I'm a teacher by trade, and I would like to teach you about the retro ways. But I know that you guys are probably in the, you're mobile gamers. You like to play Fortnite and, all those Fortnite-y games. PUBG, I know you like to play that one. And nothing wrong with those. I don't have anything against mobile gaming. I think mobile gaming is cool, but it's not for me. Just not for me. I'm a console gamer. That's what I am. I love consoles. I love arcades too. That's why I got this thing. And yeah, I prefer consoles, and ultimately I prefer classic games. Yeah. So here we go. Circus Charlie in 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, here we go. I'm inside of the app here, and I'm about to play Circus Charlie. So here we go. Get ready. The sound in the beginning is going to be really crazy. It has this like screechy, like sound. So just cover your ears in the very beginning, okay? But it's great game. Great game. I'm going to restart the game. Okay? All right. So here we go. Let's get started. Okay. All right. So here's Charlie. Charlie is riding on the back of a lion, and Charlie can jump. Yes, he can. And Charlie can jump through hoops of fire. So yeah, it's a very basic control. You can go forward and backward, and then you can jump. So Charlie, now normally I would play this with my PS4 controller, but I decided to go touch screen this time. So I'm really gonna be pretty bad. But that doesn't matter, because Charlie has died. Let's try that again. I play this with my brother-in-law a lot, and I got pretty decent at it with a controller. But with touch controls are so hard. Here we go. I'm jumping. Look at this flaming. I want to know what kind of a circus is this? This is like, I would say this is more of a freak show than a circus. I think they should have called this Freak Show Charlie. Like this is like a torture chamber. Why would they put this poor little clown boy through this? He's just a sweet little clown boy who just wants to make his way through the world. He didn't mean no harm. He doesn't want no trouble. He just wants to jump. Oh, did you? Okay, that was incredible. That was like... You saw it. You knew what I did. Alright, here we go. I can make it to the end of this level. I promise you. Look at that little elephant in the background. I promise you I can make it to the end of this level. I promise you. That is a promise I intend to keep. Alright, Charlie, don't make me go back on my word. Charlie boy and the lion. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna do it. Alright, so again, this game is really, really basic. It's just forward and backward and jump. That's the entire mechanics of the game. And look at that. Charlie made it to his stand. And his reward? I'll tell you what his reward is. He gets his torture to continue in stage 2. Only it's even worse, because now there are psychotic monkeys chasing him. on a tightrope. But look at the agility of Charlie here. Charlie is really I think he gives Mario a run for his money, just in terms of his agility. Look at him go. And look at his flappy little arms. That's actually a decent animation for back in the day. You know, every frame of animation takes memory, RAM, and, you know, for the fact that they... Psycho Blue Monkey! Okay. I knew he was coming, but every time he comes, it's still a shock to the senses. Alright, I'm gonna be ready for you this time, Blue Monkey. Oh, this is creepy. Okay, what do I do? What do I do? Ah! Okay, you panic. In these games, you panic, and then you become a deer in the headlights. And then it's game over. But anyway, this is Circus Charlie. I highly recommend that you download it, play it, and yeah, it's a great game. 1986. I was only 4 years old when this came out. But yeah, look, it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. If you beat this game, you're pretty hardcore. So yeah, I would, again, highly recommend it. Very simple mechanics, but a lot of fun. That's the thing. The core of gaming is fun. And I think that this developer, Konami, look at it, it's Konami. It's a Konami game. Konami, the legendary company that went on to create such incredible games as Metal Gear Solid and one of my favorites, the Goemon series. Yeah, well done, Konami. I think you proved your pedigree here with Circus Charlie. Look at him. See, look at this is one of the later levels. He has to hop on trampolines on horseback. So you have to hop off the horse, hop on the trampoline, and then back on the horse. It's insanity, really. But yeah, and there's no logic to it. You know, you don't... Back in the day, we didn't ask, like, hey, why is Charlie going through all this? Like, we didn't ask those questions. It wasn't our business. Our business was the mission at hand. And the mission at hand is to bring Charlie home safely. And I failed that mission. But anyway, that's it for today, guys. Circus Charlie. Thank you for joining me on my first ever episode of Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode. Make sure you check out the podcast on Spotify, Gamers Overdrive, and I'll see you next time on Retro Mode.